I do. I do have little buddies in the office
These
today. I'm glad I
peanuts.
showed you that on video.
I
And welcome
know.
back. We're doing another episode, I hear.
We're here we are. Twitter
Yeah, at least
again.
I see that recording button going. It's spinning around. But yeah, we're coming back to Twitter. I was surprised when I saw this on the agenda. Seemed a little traumatic the first time. Don't think it's gotten any less traumatic.
Well, I think
Um,
the reason we're back here with our with our moonshine cocktail is because my prediction for 2023 is that Twitter would like cease to exist, and so we're coming back at about the halfway point. I'm not entirely
okay.
wrong. I
I
mean,
think, yeah, I think you're
it's yeah.
as we knew it, it's not going to exist.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to be the thing that I signed up for in whenever that was,
No.
2009, it seems like maybe. Does that
Mm-hmm.
sound right? Yeah, it's a little wild. So you mentioned our cocktail, apple pie moonshine.
Yeah.
So correct me if I'm wrong, is this one you make at home
I
sometimes?
do. I don't
And
make
I
the
have a jar of
cocktail.
it.
I
You
just
don't make the
make the
cocktail,
I just make the apple pie. So this is a
moonshine.
cocktail utilizing said apple pie, which is it tastes like juice, but it will knock you on your ass real fast. This
Oh
is
yeah,
like
it's dangerous. I
mhm.
had the jar from you that unfortunately leaked a little bit, but I put it in a different jar,
Mhm.
and that worked fine. But I took it to Christmas last year, and
Was it wild?
yeah, so my mom was staying with us, and she doesn't really drink. She has a margarita every now and then. That's kind of her
Uh-huh.
thing. But she drove me home. Apparently, I guided her into the garage. Have no recollection of it. My brother said it was fantastic and delicious. So I gave him a smaller, like mason jar of it to take home because you get like
Mhm.
you did the whole like
It was
pint
a
or
big
whatever it
jar.
was.
Yeah.
It was a pretty good sized jar. Okay, so the apple pie moonshine, which you'll probably at some point have to explain how to make.
It's
Like,
basically you just dump all the stuff in a pot and let it sit overnight, and then you drink it. Strain out your
okay,
cinnamon sticks. Um, yeah,
all
I
right.
can I can share the recipe in the show
Okay, so for
notes.
this
It's not
cocktail, you
proprietary.
first got to make the apple pie moonshine,
Yes,
or
yes, but
acquire it from Caitlin if you know her.
it
It's a great Christmas gift.
is.
Um, just gives to everybody too.
Hmm.
All right,
Hmm.
and then you can turn it into an apple pie moonshine cocktail.
Yeah, this seems like a I don't know, maybe like a cider. I feel like this would be good warm. Quite
It might
honestly,
be. Yeah. Okay, so
like
it's
a
two
yeah.
ounces of said moonshine,
Yes.
which is probably more than plenty. Just I'm the one who always
Uh,
wants more booze, but I think that's good for this.
one of these cocktails is probably enough, and then you need to switch to something else.
Yeah, like water or iced tea. All right, so we start with the ounces of the apple pie moonshine. Then you ramp it up with 2 ounces of apple juice. I do agree that cider would be delicious with this too.
Mm-hmm.
1 ounce of cinnamon simple
Ooh,
syrup.
yes.
Ooh, it's a fun one to say too. Cinnamon simple syrup. Half an ounce of fresh squeezed lemon juice, because a little citrus with your apple is always good.
Mm-hmm.
Optional, garnish it with an apple slice. So could you take out? Oh, and then you could also garnish it with a cinnamon stick. But I've got a divergence here.
Mm-hmm.
What if I took like a piece of apple out of the apple pie filling and like dropped that in to garnish it? I feel like that would be okay. I
Like
mean, then I'm
out
gonna have
of
a whole.
like a can of apple pie.
Yeah,
Feel, yeah, I think so.
yeah. But
It
then you
might
got
be
to
kind
make
of
a.
like then it would be like it's not going to be cute like I'm
Yeah, it won't
thinking
be
of like the
crisp.
very thin sliced just kind of floating on top would be
Okay,
cute.
so
But
ignore my stupid idea.
but
Um,
you could do like drunken apples with this literally.
oh, you could.
Just soak them in it.
The other
That
thing that would be
seems
interesting,
dangerous.
I think a beautiful garnish would be like the spiral apple peel. Like you
Oh
could
yeah,
spiral an apple peel and
like
like
from
so
a
you get a little
peeler.
red in
Mhm.
there. Yeah.
Mhm.
All right, so you shake, shake, shake because this is a shaken cocktail, no
Yes.
fizz in it. Lots of ice, 2/3 full of ice with that shaker, so you get it nice and cold. Strain the ice. Um, you can serve it over ice with new ice. We've started using those craft ice balls in our
Or you just
house.
like yeah, or you could just like serve it dirty.
could just serve it dirty. I also think, to Caitlin's point, like, you could make this warm.
Yeah,
I
I
feel
think
like just be.
this is it's a fall drink. I think it's a warm drink.
But what I
We're
would do
going off the
is,
rails, folks.
we
Much
are.
like Twitter.
Sorry, Zach, just
Ignore the
off the
instructions.
rails.
Just make it up as you go. There are no
So
rules, and they only apply to two people.
that is pretty much like Twitter. So would you then heat up everything but the moonshine and add that at the end, right? Otherwise, you're gonna
Yeah, I
bake
would
the
just like
alcohol
warm.
out.
Yeah, just like warm your cider, and then or your
Yeah,
juice, and then it's basically a hot toddy. Like you're just making a toddy.
pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah. It's basically a health food. It has juice in it. So it's going to feel nice on your laryngitis throat. Lemon
And I mean,
juice.
if you have
You
enough
could
of
yeah.
them,
You
an
could
apple a
skip
day,
the simple syrup and do honey. And then it's just tea. Honey and
pretty
lemon.
much.
It's tea. It's basically tea.
It's apple tea, which actually sounds kind of good now that I think about it. A little
Mhm.
apple flavoring in tea. So now I think we still have a half a jar of the apple pie moonshine, but it doesn't really go bad. So
It's yeah, the only problem with a warm cocktail is that it's June.
true.
So this is not seasonal. This is not a seasonally appropriate beverage, but it will fuck you up. So do with that what you wish.
Yes, and I believe that since you've dropped an F bomb, that's going to get us an explicit label. However, we're talking about Twitter anyway, so the E was going to go on this one no matter
Oh
what.
my god, what a
But
just an absolute dumpster fire.
all right, we can get to that in a second, but I want to give you one more
Oh.
idea because you brought up the iced tea thing. And what I was saying is, while we wait for fall to enjoy this as a nice warm beverage,
Mhm.
you could just do like an ounce of the apple pie moonshine in an iced tea, stir it up,
Mhm.
and it won't be super sweet, and it'll have
Be
a
a little be a
little kick.
little patio pounder.
Yeah, there we go. Patio pounder. All right. And I'm sure
So
there are
it's
plenty of
yeah.
ex-employees from Twitter who need good patio
Oh
pounders
god.
this
I hope
summer.
they're enjoying their severance. That's all I can say.
I hope they got a severance based on everything I saw.
I
But
don't even know. Yeah.
all right. Well,
Let's take a
party
break.
dance break, and we'll be back. Okay, I think. Well, exactly. Is it? Tell me how you're really feeling.
I just cannot. The level of
Um,
cannot is too high.
yeah. So, question: are you still on Twitter? Are you
I
still checking into it?
check it mindlessly when I have run out of Instagram to look at.
Okay. So Instagram's kind of become your new thing.
Yeah.
I'm trying Mastodon, and I've got a few friends who went there. I kind
Mm-hmm.
of like it, but the spam has just started on Mastodon, which was exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I have an invite to Blue Sky, and I
Yeah.
tried to sign up. I got the code and everything, and I tried to go sign up, and it said my code was invalid. But it's the code that I got in the email from Blue Sky. So it came from Jay, like an actual email address. So I replied and said, "Hey, this isn't working. You guys don't have any customer support. You don't have any forms. You don't have
Yeah.
any anything. So can you help fix this thing for me?" And I got
Help.
no response. So I also requested an invite from a different email address just to be like, if I could just get in with one, it's fine.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so I still check in on Twitter. Definitely not as much as I did. I hardly post anything.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's just like, I don't know, my feed's just become kind of a wasteland of weirdness.
It's what mine is, without getting too big into the weeds, is like Iowa politics wonks,
Mm-hmm.
and then just like a lot of weird ads. And that's it.
Yeah,
So I
I
have
have.
like obscure local news, local being like to the state of Iowa, and then stuff that I would never buy. And that's
Yeah,
it.
there's a whole group of ads, and I'm sure it's all the same company. They have these like multicolored logos and weird names, and I have been
Mm-hmm.
blocking them repeatedly.
Mm-hmm.
And I even like tweeted a screenshot at Elon to ask when he was going to deal with that shit, but did not get a response, unsurprisingly.
Yeah.
Um, so maybe if I had a Twitter blue check mark, I would get a response from
Well, it will
Elon.
only cost you $8 a month unless you're famous, and then it's free.
If
Or you
you're
could be dead. You could be
famous,
dead famous, and
yeah,
then
it
it's
was.
also free.
They rolled it out. I think it was to anyone with over 1 million followers. They just gave it to, and so all the famous people were like, "Take it away! I don't want this thing. It's
Yeah.
stupid." And then yeah, there were lots of dead people who had it, who I'm sure like were not paying. Like David Crosby was one. I don't think he paid for Twitter Blue, since
What was it? He's dead.
he is dead. Yeah, there were several, and that's just awkward. So now, the other thing that got me about it, and I get like monetizing the service and having benefits if you subscribe, and Facebook has that option now as well,
Mm-hmm.
where you can be verified and get whatever. But what got me was when it came to companies. So if you had a business on Twitter and you wanted your
Mm-hmm.
business to get the verified check mark, which I think is gray or gold or something,
Who even knows?
um, it's $10,000 a month to have a business be Twitter verified. And that's per account. So if you have like 10 accounts for your business, like for products or whatever, um, you're looking at $100,000 a month just
That.
to be verified. And it's like, that's just so dumb. Like, ay, ay, ay.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I did hear that it was like 13,000 people were paying for Twitter Blue after it kind of relaunched. So that's, a very tiny number of all Twitter users. I don't know
Not.
how many it is right now, but it was really ridiculous
Uh huh.
how tiny it was.
Yeah. I,
When you
R.I.P.
just,
Twitter. I think it's. I mean, like, try and turn it into like some TV streaming platform or something, and then just goodbye. It's gonna go the way of Vine and Quibi.
okay, so by February it had fewer than 300,000 subscribers. They're rolling out half the ads if you have Twitter Blue. I mean, it's got some decent benefits that could have been really great if it hadn't just been botched so crazily.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Well, yeah, like I admittedly have checked out of Twitter, like the news of it and also the app itself. Like I am not there nearly as often.
mhm.
And so I think to try and rebound from all of that bad press will be impossible. Like I don't think they'll ever come back from it, especially not with Elon as the chairman.
Well, and isn't the official name of the company now X?
I have
I
no
had
idea.
read that. Like Twitter's now a product of a company called X.
Well, and that was
Um,
his like payment processing company that got folded into PayPal. Like that's where all of his tech money kind of
mhm,
came from initially.
mhm.
So, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
it
and the Dogecoin dog became the logo for a little while and then mysteriously wasn't anymore.
oh my gosh. He just
So
can't stay out of his own way.
it
Like it's
is
so
interesting.
bad. It's
I
so
mean,
bad. I don't know. I think we need to make another drink and then just call it. Like that's it. That's all she wrote.
oh.
I don't know.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we are 6 minutes in, and Caitlin
I've given
is
up.
throwing in the towel.
I
We got a
can't.
couple more things to talk about.
That's
So,
true.
late breaking news recently, Elon is stepping down as CEO, but remaining chairman and remaining chief technology officer, and having a new CEO come
Yeah.
in.
I would love to see the org chart for that. Where he's the president of the board. So she reports to him, but then he reports to her as the CTO. It just doesn't
It
the
seems
math ain't
weird.
mathin'. It
Yeah,
doesn't
so the
make any
person coming
sense.
in, I mean, and there have been some things, I mean, about like who she's following, who she's not following, and people trying to
Mm-hmm.
analyze her through that. I did go through and kind of look at it, and she actually seems to be following like a variety of people
Mm-hmm.
with different, like she follows Cat Turd, but she also follows like, Barack Obama and whatnot. So like there's
Mm-hmm.
multiple people she's following. She's also at NBC Universal. So she's got, or has been, um, she's got a job that requires her to like at least observe what's going on. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know her. I don't want to make any judgments
Mm-hmm.
on her yet. But Linda Yaccarino is her name. And they're saying that advertisers are feeling optimistic because of all of her work at Peacock and with the ad-based services,
Mm-hmm.
and that she gets monetizing a platform.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea how well Peacock did at that. So we'll see. I mean, Wired's headline from 2 days ago. Twitter's new CEO has a fearsome to-do list. It's like that's the understatement of the year.
I think
Wired.
she just has a
Thank
lot of
you.
trash to take out. I don't even think it's a list of things to do. I think it's like she needs to declutter.
Mm-hmm.
She needs to channel the Marie Kondo and just start releasing things that don't give her joy. But it's the
Or
whole thing.
the Swedish death cleaning, as I've been watching. It's a
That's
fantastic
probably a
show.
better metaphor, honestly.
I feel like that's actually on Peacock, so Linda Yaccarino probably
There
is
you
well aware of it and
go.
sold the ads for it. But yeah, it's fantastic. If you haven't watched it, you guys should watch one.
Yeah.
The first episode has a lot going on in it with this woman. I was watching with my mom, and there's just a lot of penises. This woman she collects penises, and they're just everywhere in her house. So I was watching with my mom, and I'm like, hey, I feel like this show's good. Do you want to try a different episode? And she's like, yes, please. So we watched one that was about five daughters who like still had like their bedrooms set up in their parents' house as they were, but these people are like in their 20s and 30s and refuse to allow their parents to like take control of their own house. It was wild.
That is
Um,
wild.
but the way these people clean, I am like here for it. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
So yeah, so some Swedish death cleaning. We need to send the Swedish death cleaning crew to Twitter, and they need to work through that.
Mm-hmm.
So
This seems entirely reasonable and doable, for sure.
I think so, and I think they do great at it. When you see the episode, when you watch one of the shows and see the people, I think you would agree that these people are geared for this.
Professionals.
There's a therapist, a clutter expert or declutter expert, and an interior designer. So those are the people who come.
Okay.
So one of the things I think on Linda's to-do list is probably to figure out culture and benefits, maybe, at Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I had sent this to you, and it was sort of sad and sort of like joking, but we now offer 3 times the maternity and
Yeah.
paternity leave that Twitter does. So Elon cut it back to just 2 weeks, which is wild to me. I mean, we do 6 weeks, or you can do 12 at half pay. But
3 and 6.
oh, is it 3 and 6?
Yeah.
Oh,
At least
okay.
it was 2.5 years ago when I took it.
Catelin wants extra leave back.
And I was like,
Uh,
I
three
am
and
not
six. Okay,
having
so we
any
offer
more
one and a
together.
half times. 1.5 times what they do. I don't even know our own benefits, but still, like the fact that we actually offer a week more than a tech giant it's insane. We're a small agency. We're 12
Mm-hmm.
people. Like, I don't feel like our benefits should trump those of.
A giant billion-dollar company, allegedly billion-dollar company, probably
Yeah.
not so much anymore.
So the other thing that has come up is apparently like he changed the coffee. And if there's one thing I know as a CEO, it's you let the
fuck
people
with the
decide
coffee.
the coffee. Exactly.
Yeah.
So the coffee is terrible. He put in work beds, so you're expected to sleep at work,
What?
which the city of San Francisco came down on him for because it's not zoned for residential. Rumor had it he was sleeping in one of the conference rooms. Yeah, I feel like it's everything that nobody wants to like work in. And in the current culture, like, you've got people forcing people to go back to the office, which he also did. And then like there's jobs out there. They're like hiring is still difficult.
Yeah.
There are remote jobs out there. There's great jobs out there. I know that like other tech companies have been snapping up Twitter folks who've left. Allegedly, like 80% of Twitter like employees were laid off at some point.
But no one knows because they won't actually like publish or release any of that. It's all a mystery.
Yeah, I mean, every time I read something about it, I just cringe a little bit.
Hmm.
I cringe a lot, actually.
I think the wildest part, and then yeah, I have to be done, or it'll just be me like primal screaming. They made NPR mad, and NPR is like the
So
kindest, most
chill.
neutral, like they're all just here to report the news and we have a peaceful voice. And like, I'm sorry, if you piss Steve Inskeep off, like, what have you done? What have you done? NPR quit Twitter. They said, no, thank you. We will not be utilizing this any
Mm,
longer. And then in like a show of defiance, he like reassigned their handle to some random company or something for what? Just wild.
mm-hmm.
All of it's wild.
Yeah,
I I
NPR's,
don't care.
they're that friend at the party that just wants everybody to get along, and they're just like, they're
Yeah.
bringing cliques together, and everybody's hanging out and meshing, and it's
They're
really
finding the
great.
common denominator in the group where they're like,
Hmm.
"Oh, do you like obscure like Anglo-Saxon literature from the late 20th century? Here, you should discuss amongst yourselves." And
Hmm.
and and then they'll play like a pleasant soundtrack behind it.
Yeah, and that came up because he labeled them as state media or government funded media.
And like less than 1% of their budget actually comes from
It's a very small
funding
amount.
sources. It's yeah.
Yeah, most of their budget, well, most of their budget comes from stations, and most of the station budget comes from donors and individuals, which I
Listeners
think
like
you're
you.
aware of. Yeah, because didn't you just do a
I
fund, like
did
you were on for
Siouxland
a fund
Public
drive?
Media with my buddy Mark Munger.
Yep.
That
So
yeah.
yeah, that's where most of the money comes from.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, I don't know. It's really a
It's
problem.
too much.
Um, so here's one I hadn't actually seen. So there was a fake Disney account that got verified because they just paid for it, and it's like Disney Junior UK was they were tweeting vile content but got verified with a gold tick before being suspended.
Because they just had like a spare 10 grand.
I think this was before.
Okay, before the charges started.
Oh, so gold was $1,000 a month at the time. Organizations and businesses who pay $1,000 a month, plus additional fees for subsequent accounts. Gray is an official government account, such as a national agency or head of state. Okay, so business is gold, but yeah, so I guess they had $1,000 to pay just to spoof, and like, it ended up getting shut down eventually. But that's just
I
crazy.
mean, I've done dumber stuff with $1,000 if we're being honest.
I mean, I have two, but it's been more
Disney probably
fun
isn't
than
the
that.
yeah. What a ride. What a ride they went on.
I mean, yeah, we're not even going to get into Disney. That's not an episode for this podcast. Everything that's
No.
going on. So,
I
what else is
think
going on with
I
this?
think
I feel
yeah,
like this is just
that's
it's
it.
just it's a train
It's
wreck.
too yeah.
It's a dumpster
It's
fire
just
on rails. Well,
yeah, it's
actually off
careening
rails.
towards the ground.
So, do you think it'll make it to the end of the year in some form, or do you think it'll actually just completely shut down by the end of the year?
I think it'll still be a thing, but no one in the like general population is going to be using it.
So it'll become like a MySpace kind of thing, which just
Yeah.
lingered forever, but
Mm-hmm.
no one you knew was actually on
I think
it.
it'll be the stupidest $47 billion somebody's ever spent, and then or four. I can't remember what it was.
It
43,
is. Yeah,
40,
it was.
54.20 a share, whatever it was.
Yeah, it
Just
was.
4 billion.
Um, let's see. Let's just Google it. How much did Elon buy Twitter for? 44 billion.
Okay,
But yeah, there was the
so
420 joke in there as
it's going to be
well.
the fastest $44 billion loss that the world has ever seen. Just
So
write
his
it off.
bid was for 43 billion, 54.20 per share.
Mm-hmm.
And then by the time it closed, it was 44 billion, because stock prices go up and down. Um,
Just dumb, dumb.
yeah, I'm down a rabbit hole on Google now that I need to just close this tab
Mm-hmm.
and I'm done with it.
We gotta close the
Finished.
tab. We gotta be done with this conversation. It's the end.
Well, I
It's
won't
the
see you on
end.
Twitter.
No, you won't.
but I know I have your Insta and I see you there. There's not a lot of chat back and forth there,
No,
unfortunately. But I also can see you in person, and we have Slack, so we can chat whenever we want to.
right.
It's just not open to the world,
It's
which is
not as
probably a good thing.
accessible. Yeah, quite
I
honestly,
mean,
nobody needs to know that about me.
mhm.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah,
like,
there's quite a bit. All right, so the culture is in the dumpster. Twitter Blue is not the financial savior that the company wanted it to be, and is pretty much I mean, it's a joke at this point from what I've
it
seen.
really
Like
is.
people requesting to not get free Twitter Blue. Like, I don't
Mm-hmm.
want this free thing that you
Please
have. It's got
take
to be
this off of my
pretty
account.
bad.
Yeah.
Like, it has to be really awful for somebody to not want the free
Mm-hmm.
thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, ay, ay,
Yeah. Yep.
ay.
It's
All
pretty
right,
bad.
well,
No.
go have some iced tea and
I'm gonna
apple
go
pie
take
moonshine.
another shot.
All right, goodbye, Caitlin.
Bye.
That's it for another episode of Cocktails, Tangents, and Answers.
We hope it was as much fun to listen to as it was to make.
You can find me on Twitter or Instagram at RichMackey. I try not to make it too difficult. It's just my name. And you can find our agency at Antidote_71. That's ANTIDOTE_71 on Twitter and Instagram as well.
And you can find me at home sipping a craft cocktail prepared by my in-home bartender. It's my husband.
We'll be back with another episode every other week and a whole new cocktail recipe, plenty more tangents, and of course, answers to those pressing marketing questions.
And if you'd like to send us a question, you can go to ctapodcast.live to send us an email.
Or you can call our hotline at 402-718-9971 and leave us a voicemail. Your questions might be used for future episodes of the podcast.
For now, like and subscribe and tune in next time.